So, Terrie, tell us what kind of neighborhood you grew up in Long Beach, California.
Yay.
When you, I know, right? You got a jackrabbit over here.
Yeah.
That's where Reggie was born and raised. You were born in Memorial Hospital too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, who knew? So what was it like growing up in your time? It was like the 60s and 70s.
Yes.
And what a great time
It
to be in Long
was.
Beach.
It was so much fun being a kid. We had a great neighborhood. I lived in Bixby Hills in the same neighborhood as Don
yes.
Coscarelli,
Yes.
right next to Cal State Long Beach.
Yep.
And all the kids played outside until dark, and we had Hill
They
Junior
just kind of
High.
kicked you out and said, "Come home when the lights come on."
That's right.
Yeah.
We cooked our own food and played hard and got really dirty and yeah.
Did you have a swing set and
No, but I swam competitively, and
Wow.
I was a competitive gymnast.
wow.
So I was really busy. And then
Wow,
I had
that's
swim
awesome.
meets every weekend.
Did you have a particular coach, or did you have multiple coaches?
Oh,
or
I
how'd
was
that
on
work?
a team, Phillips 66, the team that Mark Spitz was on.
Wow.
Yeah, we had a really good team.
That's amazing.
And then the gymnastics team I was on was called Scats.
Scats.
And that's where Kathy Rigby was a team.
Wow.
She was a team member.
Yeah. Yes. Wow. That's amazing.
So we had Olympic people on our team.
See, this is the kinds of
Yeah.
stories that, the women of Phantasm never get asked. It's like, oh, what was it like working with Don Coscarelli? What was it like being Reggie Bannister's love interest? Oh, it was hot as love. And this is the kind of things that the fans really want to know about. And so, Reggie grew up on Ridgewood in Bixby Knolls. And Don Coscarelli grew up, like you said, in your neighborhood, your neck of the woods, as they say.
It's the other side of the ranch.
Yeah.
ranch
Yeah, the
used
other
to,
side of the ranch.
be that
Good way
whole
to-
area of Long Beach
Yeah,
used to be
yeah.
that one ranch.
What did your
Yeah.
mom and dad do?
They're both professors.
Wow. At Cal State, or
One was at Cal State and the other was at City College.
wow, that's
Wow.
amazing. And then you went to.
I went to Cal State, and then I went to City College to get my RN degree.
Wow.
And then I was enrolled briefly at UCI for the
UCI.
doctorate program. Yeah, but I dropped out.
No, you didn't drop out. You just changed.
Yeah,
direction.
I got pregnant and had a baby, and so I changed my
Direction.
major.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
changed your major.
I was going to be
Meant to major mom,
a
right?
research scientist.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wow.
and then I was like, oh, that's going to take too much time away from my baby. So I was like, oh, I'll be a RN, then I can move my hours around.
And where did you meet your husband?
I met him at a psych hospital where I was working, Los Altos Psych Hospital
Wow, that's.
in Long Beach.
And was he in the profession as well, or?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
So growing up, what was your family gatherings like? Were they crazy, or was it minimal, or what was it like?
Well, we had a lot of friends. We had the house that had all the games.
So
and we
you
had
had
the
the Lost
trampoline out
Souls
back.
gatherings, or?
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
had a big refrigerator, an extra refrigerator full of Cokes. And nobody
So
was allowed to
your
drink
house
Coke.
was popular, right?
Yeah. And we had ping pong and air hockey and pool table and
Wow.
and we
And
had
that's
a
Long
big
Beach.
hill in our backyard, and we'd roll
Yeah.
down it, and I had a balance beam and mats and stuff.
Sort of
out
like
back.
in Kenny Academy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we a lot of my whole growing up, there was always people over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's too bad that we don't have a lot of that going on with kids nowadays, right?
That's right.
I
They
mean-
just sit in front of the computer.
Yeah.
Or on their phone. Yeah.
Who were some of the most influential women in your youth?
Well, on my gymnastics team, I looked up to the older girls, and then on my swimming team, I looked up to, the older swimmer girls. They, real big muscular girls.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean,
really tough.
Yeah, big biceps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was on in junior lifeguards, and that was really hard in Huntington Beach. And the girls were incredible. I mean, big muscles and, you know, really thick and.
Yeah, not Bo
they were
Derek
strong.
kind of.
Yeah,
lifeguards,
no. They're doing those marathons, run, swim, runs, and.
Oh golly. Oh, so wow, that took you out to like the beaches a lot, and to the surfing and all the, or surf areas and everything. Wow. What was your favorite beach at the time?
Huntington.
Huntington. Yeah, sure. Reg, what? I mean, you had a lot of friends that hung out at the beaches and stuff like that. What was your favorite beach at the time?
You know, it's hard for me to really choose one beach, you know, but
Beachin'.
you know, Long Beach.
Yeah.
Belmont
Shore.
Belmont
That's where we
Shore.
hung out the most in
yeah,
Belmont Shore.
yeah,
When
Belmont
I was
Shore.
older. Yeah.
Really a cool little
Yeah,
community.
yeah.
And I, as a matter of fact, we had coffee houses in this era that I'm going to talk about right now. And coffee houses were really neat because they were very friendly places. Everybody just sit around drinking their coffee, and then they kind of grew into not just coffee, but like beer and wine.
Yeah.
And so you could really have a good time. And they started, I really wanted to see music get into the coffee houses. And so there was a coffee house in Long Beach, and actually pretty much kind of Naples, Long Beach. And I went in and said, hey, you know, I talked to the owners. I said, you should have music in here, because they didn't have any at the time. And they said, yeah, they agreed with me.
Was that the West Coast Bodega?
Huh?
Was that the West Coast Bodega?
Yeah, West Coast Bodega. And so anyway, I started playing there. They built a little stage for me, and I started playing there. And then I wanted to open it up for more musicians. So I told them, I said, hey, let's have a hoot night, you know, hootenanny night, you know, and where people just come in and play. And I said, I'll put it together for you. I'll run it for you. I'll get the musician. I'll make sure the word gets out. And so I did. I put the word out, and then so like I would play there Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday we'd have the hoot. And I'd kind of open up the night, and then I'd start bringing people up to play. And wow, it was really cool. I mean, people really loved it. And the musicians, it gave them a place to play, you know. Otherwise, they're just sitting at home, chunking, you know, writing and stuff. But they would. I used to get a lot of people that wrote their own stuff, as well as other folk stuff, you know, because there was some great folk music going on then. Did
you go to the like coffee house scene, or were you more into the?
I was at the beach during that time. Yeah, I was at Belmont Shore.
Of course, back then it was we had like fire pits and things like that. And
no, I didn't do that.
Oh, you didn't?
Yeah, I was at the beach like all day long.
Wow. Oh, really?
Until like
because
4 or 5 o'clock.
Wow.
then I'd go home.
Yeah.
What was the most unusual thing that you ever had, like on the beach, on your experiences on the beach?
Most usual experience? I don't know. We had some funny bums in Long Beach. And there was this parrot. Yeah, there was this parrot man. There was, do you remember Horny Corner? In Belmont Shore, along the bay.
Okay.
There's a corner, and all the guys that hang out there, and it's called Horny Corner.
Right.
And there was this man that had this big parrot on his shoulder, and he'd ride a unicycle around.
While he went a cracker.
Yeah. But anyway, we had some like interesting bums and stuff. If you running around, it was
so much social activity.
Yeah, there sure was.
And you know, it lasted for years and years and years. I don't know what's going on there now. Much, but we sure had a good time growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Long Beach.
So when you were in college, what do you think was the most important lesson that your instructors never taught you?
Oh, how to make money off what you love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us they forgot to tell us about
sure.
that.
You know, back then you went into, I'll do psychology, or I'll do home ec or business, but they don't tell you how to make money at it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And when you first came into acting, was that with Kenny and Company? Was that your first?
Yes.
And how old were you?
I think I was 11.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
And you were Marcy in Kenny and Company.
That's right.
And when you first met Don, then what was your first or best memory of meeting him and then going on set, working on set as Marcy?
Well, the way I met him was kind of funny. The guard at the guard gate said, this guy that lives up the hill from you, he's doing, he wants extras for a movie he's doing, so he wants all the kids, to go by his house. And so me and my little girlfriend go knocking on his door. Oh, can we be in your movie? And he said, he saw me and he goes, yeah, you can be, the love interest.
Yeah.
Just like that. And so I'm like, okay, and
sure, why not?
Yeah, then it happened, and it took all summer, and it was at a closed elementary school.
Yeah.
And I instantly met Michael Baldwin and then Dan McCann, and then my little girlfriend Kathy Berry, and we just played hard the whole time, like in the library. Because it was under construction and there was no lights, and so we're like, running all around, and that's what we did, like all summer was like run around that library.
Wow!
But we, had a lot of fun.
Time.
It was really fun.
Yeah. And did it occur to you that Don was so young?
Yes.
Yes. For being
he looked
a director,
like only like 18 or 19
right?
To me.
Yeah.
He looked very young.
Yeah. And how did you feel as his skills? As a director at that time?
Oh, what did I know? I just thought everything was fine.
And let's see. And how did your audition for Phantasm come about?
I didn't have an audition. They just called and asked if I wanted to do it, and I actually said no because I didn't get paid for the first one.
Oh.
And I was, of course, a bratty 14-year-old.
Yeah.
And then Paul Pepperman started calling my dad and saying, "Hey, talk your daughter into doing this." Yeah. And so my dad, talked me into doing it. And then I said, "Well, I'll only do it, if they pay me up front." And so I talked to Paul, and I said, "You've got to pay me up front." And I said, "How many, days will it be?" And he said, "Just one." I go, "Okay, well, I want $200 then." And so he said, "Okay, $200." But then it ended up being 5 different locations just for my little part.
Wow.
It was a different location, like for me opening the door from the inside, for the mausoleum, for the fortune teller part, for me walking outside the big house. Yeah, they were all like, way different locations. I just had to sit in like, a dark room.
I don't think the fans ever really knew that.
No, and I'm like 12 hours sitting in like, an empty room with nobody, by myself, while everybody's doing their stuff, stuck there. So it wasn't really very fun for me.
So describe the first time that you met Michael Baldwin and whether there's any kind of chemistry between the two of you.
No, we were, young, 11 or so. But
no, I don't mean love interest. I mean like as characters.
I thought I was really impressed by him. I thought he was such a good actor. Like he was like really attentive and like looking to see like what people were saying. Like very unusual for a child.
Yeah,
really to be so attentive
kid.
and very sharp.
Yeah.
And he could do it exactly right, on the first time.
Yeah.
And I just thought he was
Charlie,
incredible. Yeah. And then he acted just like a normal kid, with other children.
Yeah, a little brat.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Kidding.
But no, he's a really nice kid. But he could act like a little adult also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was impressed that he had an agent. I was like,
Yes.
oh, and he's getting, I'd heard, oh, $500, I heard. Oh, wow. You know, that was like a big lot of money back then.
And what were some of your most memorable moments with your scenes as the fortune teller's daughter?
Well, they changed the lines on me a little bit.
I can't imagine that.
Yeah, that was about it.
Because we know that the script was so set in
Yeah,
stone,
yeah,
right?
yeah. That was about it. Otherwise, it went fine. Yeah, it was nice.
And let's see, there was one of the most. I don't know if you know this because I know you're coming into the whole fan thing. One of the most memorable moments that fans talk about with you was about Michael getting his hand stuck in the box. And they ask if you have the box, if Michael has the box, if Don has the box, and so that actually has resonated with fans all around the world. So they really scare the crap out of them, and they really love it. So, did you get to work with scenes with Mary Ellen Shaw, the fortune teller, in Kenny and Company?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure she was heavily made up for the.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, so I
as
wouldn't have
recall.
recognized her,
Yeah.
as a regular lady,
Yeah.
in Kenny and Company.
No, a little birdie tells me there was something about, I believe it's on Phantasm, something about an incident with a jar of spiders on the set.
yeah. I was stuck in like a dark room, and in front of me there was a jar of black widows. Yeah, and I was like
On
having to sit
purpose
there.
or by
Yeah,
accident?
they caught them all around the studio.
Holy cow.
And they just put them in the jar. And
like,
but
here,
this was the
let's
table
just
that I
put the-
was sitting at, all in the dark, for 12 hours, while they're doing stuff, and I was scared. I don't like spiders.
Yeah.
They
wow.
bite me.
So,
So-
what'd they do with the spiders after?
I don't know.
Oh, holy cow.
Yeah.
Let's see. What did you have any impressions of your character once you actually saw the film?
Oh,
About how
I
it
wasn't
came across?
sure. Yeah, I wasn't sure like how I ended, because I just opened the door and then the light shines in my
It's
face.
Phantasm.
And then it's not me screaming. It's I think it's Dawn's mother screaming.
Shirley.
Shirley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shirley.
So I'm not sure if I got killed or taken or what. So people have asked me that. Did you die?
It's a phantasm.
You know what? Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah,
I
really.
don't know.
Really.
And so was Michael a prankster on the set to the best of your knowledge?
I never saw
Okay.
him do that.
And after you finished Phantasm, what direction did your life take?
Well, I didn't go into acting. I might have if I thought I looked good on the screen, but when I saw myself at the premiere, I was horrified, to
Aw.
see your face all big, and then I was in my awkward
16 by
teenage
20,
years,
yeah.
and
It's
then
always
no
tough.
makeup.
Always
know.
tough when you see yourself on the screen
Yes,
for the first time.
yes, I was horrified, and I didn't even tell anybody that I was in a movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
In the movie,
Wow.
yeah, and I didn't want anybody to see me in it, So, but then-
Kat Lester went through a similar kind of thing because she had the body double,
oh yeah, I heard
And-
about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she went through a similar kind of thing,
Oh.
but then
But yeah, now
But then
I'm
she's like-
real happy
yeah,
with it. Yeah.
So
Oh, and another thing, I had braces, and Don asked my dad if they could have the dentist remove just the front four. And so my mouth is moving really funny when I talk.
awkwardly.
Because they're
yeah.
like, well, don't open your mouth,
I
when
don't
you
think
talk.
anybody really noticed. I never
Well,
noticed.
my mouth is moving really funny.
Wow.
Yeah,
never
yeah.
really
You'll
noticed
notice
that.
next time. It's kind of like going all over the place.
Another
Trying to hide those braces.
Another little trivia that
Yeah.
nobody really knew.
And it's kind of like I'm kind of puffy right here.
Aw,
Yeah.
okay. So back in the 70s, there was kind of a has, a standing rule about that a serious actor didn't do nudity. And in your opinion, has that really changed over the years, or has it gotten worse? Has it not changed, or did anyone ever give you clues about that, or coach you on that, or anything?
No,
Okay.
I don't really know much about it. I just feel sorry for actresses that seems like a lot of them, when they get their start, they have to do some kind of nudity scene.
Right.
Famous actresses,
Right.
at some point. Except if they're, super famous for the act. I think maybe Julia Roberts hasn't really actually done a nude scene. But I think it's pretty rare.
Yeah, it's
That they haven't, if they haven't done a nude scene.
I mean, we even
Which is
have
too
it
bad.
Reggie and I even have it in our contracts for appearances, even, but especially for our acting contracts. We have nudity clauses, I should say anti-nudity clauses, and we have anti-nudity clauses for even for making appearances about that we don't have anyone showing nudity next to us because we have children that come to the table.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so, these days and age, people don't think about that. And so we try to be conscientious about that because we don't, you have a whole family that talks about, oh, I've, loved you since, I was a teenager, and since I first time I saw you, I was 8 years old, and they've got their 8-year-old standing right there, and then, you have some, scream queen sitting next to you with her hoo-ha, showing,
Yeah.
and the kid is like looking over at the hoo-ha instead of
Yeah.
paying attention, and it's like, so we put the kibosh on that early on, and but that comes from Reggie and I being, I've been his manager since 1994, so, and that's actually how we met. So that's how our contracts evolved. Is that whenever something goes awry, we actually write it into the contract. So
Good idea.
yeah,
A long time ago, when friends of mine did find out about the movie, and they heard, oh, Terrie's the blonde in the movie, they thought I was the Cat Lester and did nudity. So the rumor was going around like,
That
oh,
you were the
Terrie
body
Kalbus
double?
Terrie Kalbus did nudity in the film.
Oh,
the rumor
God.
was. I'm like, guys, I was only 14. I couldn't have done it.
well,
So, yeah.
maybe. No, wow, that's really amazing. Linda Blair went through a similar thing in The Exorcist because the whole thing with The Exorcist, where she she freaks out and as the quote unquote the monster, and she has the crucifix, and the scene is written where she actually has sex with the crucifix with her mother when her mother walks in. And for years they edited that around that, depending on the year, And when they released it uncut originally, people were freaked out. Well, it actually isn't Linda Blair. Anything that was done that was considered inappropriate for a 14-year-old.
Yeah, I was going to say, wasn't she like really
Eileen
young?
Dietz,
Yeah,
a good friend of ours,
Uh-huh.
Eileen Dietz actually did that.
Oh.
And she was of age. And so anything that was promiscuous, considered promiscuous, Eileen Dietz had to do as her body double. And for a lot of years, she wasn't allowed to talk about it. And so
Oh.
finally it got to the point where they could talk about it, and they re-edited it, re-released the unedited versions.
That's
So-
really interesting.
Yeah, isn't it? How the industry keeps
Yeah.
changing over
Yeah.
the years and like that. So
Yeah. I thought it was she that did it, and I was like, how did that happen? She was so young.
She was so young.
Yeah,
right?
it was so shocking.
Yeah, Carrie
Yeah.
Fisher,
Yeah.
same
Disturbing.
thing. Carrie had some very young experiences, and she talked about how some of her earlier experiences. She was like, I can't do this, and so they had to write in, for body doubles and no nudities and like that. But she had the advantage of having, Eddie Arnold and Debbie Reynolds, so so yeah. I wouldn't want those parents.
No.
They would be all over that, like white on rice.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Does having the life in or having been associated with the horror genre, has that affected you? Did that ever affect you as a mom? Or
No, no, my son didn't even know till he was older.
how old was he when he figured it out? Or when it
Maybe he was
finally
about 20
grokked
or
it?
something like that.
When-
About 20 years old.
Yeah.
22.
Late
or-
bloomer.
Yeah, I just kind of forgot, about it. And
How did that come in? How does one have that conversation?
yeah, I know. I don't remember. I think I tell him things about my life sometimes, and a lot of times he's like, "Yeah, boring, mom," and so I think I said, "Hey, when I was a kid, I did these too," and he wasn't really, excited about it or anything. So I just
does he like horror films or?
No, he likes films, like most films, but he's not a big horror film buff or anything.
It was really funny when my daughters were first figuring out that Reggie was going to be their stepfather, and I mean they've been around horror all their lives. Their birthday was October 18th. Yours is October 19th, correct?
My son's is on Halloween.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and so when you're in Reggie's is September 29th. So it's like when you're that close to Halloween, your birthday, it's like not a big deal. It's like that's and it's just it's like, well, we always have Halloween birthdays, and so it was kind of a funny thing that as they grew up. It's like, and Reggie Bannister's my stepfather. And people would freak out, Well, and my mom is Gigi Bannister. Wait, your mom is Gigi Bannister and your father, Reggie Bannister, oh my God, and so it was a unique experience too.
Was this
for
when they
them
were
to
in high
come
school? When they
Yes.
were
Yeah.
popular kind of for that?
Yeah.
I mean, people were all excited?
Yeah.
Oh,
So they
that's
were,
really neat.
and then it kind of changed again once they became adults, and then it was every now and then it was like, then it became a name drop thing. Oh well, yeah, yeah. Well, my dad is Reggie Bannister, so and if you think that's something, my mom kills Reggie all the time. It's really good marital therapy. So
It worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, Starla actually got to come to the premiere for Phantasm 5, so that in Austin, so that was really good. Let's see. So you came to realize your fan following in a later year, later in your.
Just a few years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
So how does that feel, and how do you relate to that?
Oh, I'm amazed.
I mean, you have fans around the world.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you're one of the memorable characters to them.
I only found out because I went on Facebook. And
And there you were.
And Michael
Did you Google
Baldwin.
yourself, or?
No. Michael Baldwin texted me when I went on Facebook, and then you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I found out about the conventions and you guys traveling,
Right.
and his music.
It's like, what? You can make money for it?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. And so I was like, yes, call me for the conventions. I'd love to go. I can't believe it. And then when I joined Facebook, I started getting all these autograph requests from strangers.
Yeah.
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 That's a little weird.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. They're really
All of a sudden,
nice.
and they
Nice
really are.
fans.
Oh yeah,
Really
they are.
nice fans.
We always
Yeah,
say
they're
you
not
can't
weirdos.
say Phantasm
Yeah.
without saying fan.
Yeah, I'm
So-
really surprised how nice the fans are.
And you hear all these horror
Yeah.
stories about the freaky fans.
Oh yeah,
but we
and they're not. They're
actually-
like the normal,
it's
total
not like
normal
that.
people.
Yes, they're
Yeah.
really wonderful, wonderful folks.
Yeah.
So, Terrie, what was, when you were growing up, what was your favorite horror film, or what scared you the most in horror films?
Dracula.
Dracula.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
one? Which version? The original 20s?
The
or
original. Yeah. Oh, and then
Nosferatu?
yeah, that one. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Nosferatu inspired me for special effects. And so were you a Universal Studios monster kind of girl, where you liked Boris Karloff
Yes.
and Lon Chaney?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And what did you like most about those? Just the characters?
Yeah,
or
you know, they were really incredible actors.
I know, right?
Yeah, and their disguises, you know, and their accents.
Lon had
a
amazing. I mean, he carried that makeup case with him. It was one of the heavy wooden makeup cases.
Man of a Thousand Faces.
Man of a Thousand Faces.
Yeah. Remember a movie where he didn't have any arms?
Right.
And then another one where he didn't have any bottom legs.
Yep.
He has them tied up behind him.
And then Boris Karloff, in order to play the Frankenstein monster, he wore these stints on his calves, and he actually broke his I forget which leg, but he broke one of his legs because he stumbled. He was wearing those stilted boots. You know, we don't know anything about no character wearing rise boots, right? You know, but he had to wear lifts in his boots, and he stumbled on something and he broke his leg or something.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he was so into method acting like Lon Chaney, and and Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi, all method actors, really amazing method actors, so they're really suffering for their craft.
Yes.
We don't know anything about that, Reggie, do we?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And of course,
15 times into the trunk
Angus
of a car.
Scrimm, you know, he actually, I mean, he was tall anyway.
Yeah.
But
6'3" or 6'4",
well,
something like that.
They gave him boots that had extra high heels.
Extra heels plus lifts inside.
Plus inside, yeah. So he was, you know, I love the scene where, which one was it? Where we're facing off. We finally face off together. That was 5.
5.
And we finally face off together, he and I. And because we were never in any scene together. You know, he'd do his thing and I'd do my thing and like that. But in 5, we actually come together, and it's really funny because they do the side shot, and we're facing each other like this. Only I'm going like this, and my forehead is like about where his chin is. You know, we're having this encounter. You know, it was fun.
He said that was one of his favorite all-time scenes. Was that
Angus? Yeah.
Yeah. What was your other than Phantasm, of course? But what was your scariest movie when you were growing up? Because you told me something about The Hand and The Mummy up in Big Bear, something like that.
I'm not really sure which moment was, because you put on the person you're playing, you know, and you're facing whatever it is that you're facing, whether it's horror or smooching, loving, or whatever the scene requires. You just have to be there, be there now.
Be there now.
Which is a good book, by the way. And so it was always great with Don Coscarelli, because he just, do it, Reg. Let me see what you got.
Let me see what you got.
Yeah, and
his other thing is, hey, that was excellent. That was perfect.
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again.
He shot about 5 to 1.
5 to 1 to get one good shot. He'd shoot 5 times.
5 times, and then he just he'd have a lot of choice.
Then he'd give the actors a couple extra if he needed it. Yeah.
He's a great director. He's great to work with.
What scares you, whether it's horror or in life? What scares you the most, Terrie?
I guess a stranger coming into your house and strangling you, chasing you around, and you're trying to jump out the window. Yeah. Something like that, or they're chopping your head off, chopping your arms off, sticking you in a box. I don't know. Just I guess someone breaking into your house and killing you.
Invasion,
yeah.
invasion robberies and stuff. So,
Yeah.
there's something about losing that sense of, because your home is your castle, that sense of, sanctity and safety. When you're in your home and you feel like, I remember that when I was a little girl, my house was robbed, and I remember feeling the loss of, and this sense of violation, that it wasn't like any other violation that I had in my life, but it was like this sense of, is this going to happen again? And are they coming back? And, could this happen again in my life? And the sense of like, well, what do you mean that somebody just walked into my house and just took my stuff, And you've had that happen too, but it was like, it's a relative.
I think that's, you want to get into scary shit.
Yeah.
Home invasion is, just the thought of
I
it
had
is so.
nightmares about home invasions.
I had a stalker once.
Did
you?
Yeah, they broke into the guy
we both had
broke
stalkers.
into my parents' house
Wow.
at 2:00 in the morning. I thought it was a dog trying to get in because I heard him rattling
Wow.
the front door. And he walked around our house and made obscene phone calls to people on our phone for 5 hours.
Oh my God.
Till 5:00 in the morning. That's what it was.
Oh man.
And then I went upstairs and stole my underwear and stole a big photo of me.
Oh gosh.
And then he got chased out by one of our house guests, this lifeguard named Bob.
Wow.
And he didn't recognize him, but actually he knew the guy. But
Oh
he
my
was
gosh.
busy chasing him out.
Holy cow.
Yeah, but
Wow.
he did get arrested for something similar a couple of years after that.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
and then he was giving me
was it
crank
even
phone
because
calls.
of your connection to Phantasm?
No,
It was just a straight up random
Just
act.
Yeah, well, he kind of knew of me, kind of a thing, and I don't know why, he was doing that. No idea,
Yeah,
but that was pretty weird.
We've had some, some craziness in our life along that lines. We can't really go into it, but yeah, we've had, Yep. So, but do you have, if you had a chance to go back and talk to yourself at 14, what advice would you give yourself at 14? That if you could tell yourself now and talk to yourself at 14, what would you tell yourself?
I would have told myself, you don't look so horrible on screen. Forget about it. And I would have tried out for acting jobs.
Well, that would have been
I would have
really
given it
good.
a shot,
Yeah,
since I already had 2 films
Yeah.
done. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, why not?
Yeah, I mean, because you really were on a good roll there, and I mean, 40 years later, you still have a fan following, and on a remarkable franchise with a remarkable director. So,
Yeah, it's incredible.
yeah. So, what do you think is probably the most significant changes that have come about for women in the film industry, either in front of or behind the camera, in the last 40 years?
Well, I like that they're using more women directors.
I like that too.
Yeah, gosh.
No, you really?
And writers, and this just are being more friendly. It doesn't seem like just a men's club anymore.
Yeah, it's
I
great.
agree.
Yeah.
It's great.
I'm so grateful to Don Coscarelli because, he allowed me to kind of work my way up. Who knew at 19 when I first saw Phantasm, and I was driving a 1970 black Dodge Challenger with a 440. And I went to see Phantasm and saw this.
She loved
really
the CUDA.
And I saw this really cute guy playing the ice cream man. Who knew that I'd wind up here
Yeah.
directing the documentary about the women of Phantasm and count them among my friends. And the family, the Phantasm family among my friends, and then have all these fans who are family, and then to get to tell these stories, you know, and help the women of Phantasm tell their stories. And then to work on Phantasm 4 as the special effects coordinator, and Phantasm 5 as the special effects coordinator, and then be promoted to a co-producership. That was like, bam.
It's amazing.
What glass ceiling? You know?
At 19 to, you know,
Yeah.
just
I know,
go,
it's like-
you
and
know,
Reggie's,
up.
Reggie and our pathways crossed. It's like we came so close to like our pathways interchanging. You know, in '89 or '88, I was working at Universal Studios. You know, I had my contract ended. I was working for Lou Wasserman's goddaughter, and Kathleen Unger, and my contract ended just as Phantasm 2 had come out, and so I didn't get a chance to meet him then. And then Phantasm 3 comes out, and he's pissed off about the fact that it went to VHS. And so
Yeah.
he calls a friend of his, Michael Berryman
Oh.
from Hills Have Eyes and The Crow and Evil Spirit, and Michael was one of my clients, and that's how we met. And so he had no idea what a huge fan I was, and so it's just kismet how this all, it was like we were supposed to meet eventually. So just who
Sure
knew,
was.
you know. And
He was
so
telling me how he called you on the phone,
he did,
and you were
I
so
know.
shocked.
I was standing in. I had rented split level. There was Chrissy McNichol had a split level home, and I was renting the lower half of that. And I'm standing there and unpacking boxes, and I get this phone call, and it's he goes, "Hi, I don't know if you know me or not, but my name is Reggie Bannister," and I'm like, "Yes, I'm very familiar with your work." And he
Are you
goes,
trying? Were you trying to hold it together?
I'm you know,
Not go ah.
and he goes, "Well, I got your number from Michael Berryman." Yes, he's my good friend. He goes, "Yes." He goes, "Well, I'm, you know, promoting Phantasm 3, Lord of the Dead. I was in it. Are you familiar with the oh, yes, I'm a huge fan." And he goes, "Well, you know, it just came out and it's going direct to video, and I was wondering, would you like to see a screening?" And I'm like, "Yes, may could I bring a guest?" "Yeah, that'd be great." So I brought Elizabeth Brooks from The Howling, who was another client of mine and a friend. And so we go and we show up, and Angus Scrimm has a cold. And Angus was a big germaphobe, and he refused to shake your hand if he had a cold. And so
Yeah,
we
he
show
wouldn't
up,
shake hands.
and he wouldn't, wouldn't shake our hands.
It's better to bow.
And then so Elizabeth goes, "Well, how are we going to find Reggie?" And I went, "Trust me, we'll find him. We'll find the largest group of people, and he'll be dead center." And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. And we go over, he and I shake hands, and he hands me his 8x10 and a demo of his music, and he shook my hand, and I thought somebody reached in and grabbed my soul, and he thought I had a big stick up my ass, and so I proceeded to educate him about the business of Hollywood, and he proceeded to remove the stick out of my ass. And so it was the beginning of a beautiful friendship, as they say. So, yeah. So
Perfect pair.
Yeah.
You know.
Seriously.
So, and apparently Don Coscarelli saw it before we did. So, who knew?
What a story.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So, we're a big fan. What do they call it? They call us the darling of horror, darlings of horror, the darling couple of horror.
There you
That's
go.
it.
Well, that's a great love story.
I know, right?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, they don't last that long these days. So the fact that we've managed to hang on, you know, but you know, we're friends and partners first, and so we started out that way, and then you know the relationship grew later. So but we're business partners, you know. There have been people that have tried to break up the partnership, and then
that doesn't go.
And then there's a female director, or as a female business owner. I mean, I'm the president and CEO of Production Magic Inc. I'm the vice president of Yeah Doggy Music. I'm the president of Crestline Creative Arts Foundation.
Of what?
Crestline Creative Arts Foundation, our nonprofit. So when they try to they don't get what they want from me, and they try to go to him and bypass us. It's really kind of amusing to watch it happen. And so they'll go to him and they try to talk him into doing something. And the first thing that'll happen is he'll say, well, you know, you got to talk to Gigi. And then the look on their face is like, you know? And then, you know, if they're trying to screw us over on something, it's like, look, deal with me now or deal with Gigi later. You know. And it's difficult because if you've ever had to do business like this, like you were saying, you've discovered early on about having to negotiate your own contract. You just took charge. You realized, hey, you know what? They're getting paid. I'm not getting paid. I need to get paid. You know, I have a skill. They need my skill. I need to get some moolah here. Well, it kind of gets to that point sometimes. And if you are a strong woman and assertive, and you have to, they want to like kind of push you over and say, well, no, you're not going to get paid, or no, you're not going to get this, that, or the other. If you say, no, we are going to get paid, we are going to get this, you are going to honor that contract, you are going to do it this way, or we're not going to have a deal, then, oh, you're a bitch.
Of course.
You know, you're either a pushover or you're a bitch. And they never say that about men. You know, oh, well, he's just a very good businessman. He's really strong. He's very assertive, you know. So, and it's not a fair playing field.
Yeah, that's too bad.
You know, I think it's becoming, it's a much more friendly environment to work in. It's been a very difficult road to hoe. But I tell you, it's getting there. But I'm glad that some of the stories have come out finally, because there was years I wouldn't talk about the things that have happened to me. So I'm glad that we can actually have this forum. And I just was telling somebody today that I want to have a luncheon where we just sit around and have some glasses of wine and some lunch, and all us ladies and some of the gentlemen sit around and we talk about we just dish dirt and about some of the things that have happened to us, because I think that the people coming up, the young people coming up through the industry can benefit from that.
Yes, definitely.
Because we need to look out for each other, you know, male and female. So
that's too bad that people try to pull you apart like that.
They do.
When you're, you know, a solid team.
Yeah,
and you tell them that.
Yeah. Well, you know,
and they still try.
I believe that probably the Coscarellis go through the same thing. I know that Bill and Sharon are a strong team, the Thornberrys, and you know, it takes a strong team to make it in this industry, you know, and especially you know, if you want to get ahead, and if you know, I tell Reggie or I tell fans that Reggie and I made a decision a long time ago. You have a choice. You can take fame or fortune. We got fame. So, but we work steady, and so steady work is better than just getting one really large paycheck every, 4, 8, 10 years, So we work on a regular basis, so that's a good thing. So.
But you have projects on the work.
We do.
Yeah, so that's exciting.
Yes.
And I hope that goes well for you.
I hope it goes well.
I was overhearing your plot, and that sounded really great. I like that.
Yeah, because we want you in it.
Oh, that would be nice. I would love to.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. Is there any other subjects or anything that you want to talk about in your life?
No.
What is your son up to these days?
Oh, he does promoting. I was going to tell Reggie. he lives in San Diego, and he helps bands find places to play. And
so
Oh, that's really cool.
and yeah, and San Diego's really booming, like with
Yes.
new artists.
Yeah.
And he also rents a place, a kind of a garage sort of, where he turned it into like a band place where bands
that's
can
cool.
play. And then he also helps art shows go,
that's
and then he
great.
also does computer graphic shows and DJing,
great.
and he does it along with the bands playing.
Tell him that I
He's
used to
doing
do
a
the
great
same
job.
thing. We would go over to this friend's
Yeah.
or place, and he'd open up his garage, and they'd put chairs out all the way down the driveway, pretty much, and we'd go in there and play, and people from all over the neighborhood or just people that he called or knew or that I knew would come and listen. It was so cool. It was.
There's
It is. I mean, it
a
really
feeling
is
of
helping,
nostalgia that I think. That,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, that people want that again.
Yeah,
you
he.
know?
I used to be into punk rock like in the '80s, and I used to go clubbing, if you can believe it, clubbing up in
disco.
Hollywood and stuff. And I had so much fun, and I had all that music, and I shared it with my son. And so, so I think that's kind of why he got into that area. He couldn't play music himself, but he thought he would help promote artists. And
great.
I can't even walk down the street in San Diego with him without people coming up and going,
Hey, man.
"Reese, thank you so much for helping us out." Oh,
That's
so
awesome.
That's
I'm
really
so
cool.
proud of him for
That's-
doing it.
that's
He's
a
been
great
doing it
legacy.
for about 6-7 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great legacy to pass
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
That's great. Oh, that's really cool to hear. So, alrighty. Well, is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
Nope.
Okay, sweetie. Well, thank you so much, and we really appreciate you coming and talking with us and being a part of this really cool history that we're sharing with the fans. Okay, and we're looking forward to more autograph shows, more Women of Phantasm.
Me
premieres,
too.
And I can't wait. And remember, we can't say Phantasm without saying fans, right? So,
Right.
hey, thank you. Take care, Terrie.
Thank you.